Welcome back to MGD 111 Photoshop. We're going to continue looking at transformation tools. Today we're going to look at one called Distort. It works similar to the Skew tool, but with a big difference. So let's go to, again, we've got our picture here. It's already been selected, so let's go to Transform, Distort. The Skew tool only allowed us to move a corner in one direction. The cool thing is this allows us to go in both directions. I find it a little bit more useful than the Skew tool just because you have a little more freedom. And this is actually pretty good for trying to place a rectangular object into something that that kind of has different proportions and maybe a different angle. Let me give you actually a better example to work with. I'm going to slide this picture out of the way here. I have a couple of book covers that I designed here a while back. One is called The Drift. Excellent book, should be coming out soon. The other is called Life to the Right of Hollywood. Now, on my website, whenever I display my books, I like to put the cover on just this little fake page edge thing here, just to make it look a little more three-dimensional. So what I want to do is add the drift cover to this. So I'm going to go to this image, copy, over here and paste, and you see it's completely in the wrong place. It's not skewed or perspectivified, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my select the book cover that I just dropped on here, and you'll notice we are working in layers again because of that. And I go to Edit, Transform, Distort, and let me zoom in on this a little bit. The easiest thing to do is to take one corner here and just put that corner right where I need it to be. Now, you'll notice when we're doing these transformations, especially when it changes the shape of it, it looks a little bit rough at times, so we might have to do this transformation a couple of times. I'm just going to take each corner and just put them exactly where I need this to go. There we go. And now I can hit return, and you'll see it looks a little bit neater than it did before. Now I might need to nudge it just a bit, or modify it ever so slightly, or even trim that a little bit. But you get the idea. With a little bit of practice, you'll get pretty good at getting those corners to go exactly where you want to. Now, one thing about the Transform tool, if I go back to Transform, Distort, you'll notice my crop marks that were around that image are no longer the corners of this book, but they're now a rectangular corner. So you want to be careful before you hit apply, because now instead of working from this corner right here of my image, I actually have to work from this corner, and that can cause some problems. So you want to be careful before you apply a transformation in this particular case. But I think I can get it lined up pretty well. This is a fairly easy one. Just want to make sure none of that red shows through from behind. Hit transform, and then I would flatten the image, rename it, and I've got a fake new book cover. Again, takes a little bit of practice to get it lined up just perfectly, but you can see how that works. So that's the Distort tool. And again, similar to the Skew tool, if you use the Option key, it'll move whatever corner or whatever edge you're moving along with the opposite corner or edge in the opposite direction. And if you hold down the Shift key, it performs the same function as the Shift key with the Skew tool. So those are some pretty useful tools so far. Let's go back. We're done with this book cover for now, but let's go back to our flagpole for the next lesson.